Okay, this is Geometry Chapter 8 Test on Similarity. This is the version A, and I'm starting with question one here. And you've got the two triangles there, and it tells you that they're similar, and it wants you to find the value of x. So I need to find x is right here. Okay, and it looks like it's the smallest side in that triangle. So what the smallest side in this triangle is right here. So I should write those as a fraction, x over 22. And then I need to pick a side. I don't care which set you pick, 39 and 26 or 45 and 30. I'm going to do 45 and 30. And you notice I started with the big triangle here and I put it on top. So I should do the 45 on top and the 30 on bottom for the small triangle. And now I just have to cross multiply. This times this is something, and then 30 times x is 30x. Okay, I'm going to divide by 30. That's going to give me x equals 33, which is choice D. Okay, number 2. They have the two triangles. They tell you ABE, that's the big triangle on the left, is congruent to triangle CDE, that's the smaller triangle on the right. And they both share the point E right here in the middle. Right here in the middle here. Okay? We know some lengths there, and they want us to find the length of N to E. Well, that's, if you look at your diagram, it's in your paper, it's right here. They want that length. Okay, let's call it x. Okay, now these aren't really right angles that I drew, but it's supposed to be right angles in your diagram. So we need to set it up. Now it turns out all lengths can be set up as a proportion if the triangles are similar. So I know that in the small triangle x divided by, in the big triangle x is the same as 12, but the 12 is longer because it's in a big triangle. Then if I go to the small triangle, the only other side I know is 5. And 5 is right here, so it's got to correspond to 15. Okay, and that turns out that when you cross multiply this stuff, 15x equals 60. 5 times 12 is 60. Divide by 15. You get x equals 4. And when you look at your answer choices, that's choice A. Okay, question number 3. A rectangular yard is fenced in using 319 of custom fence. Your friends really like the fence and decide to fence their yard using the same fence. Their yard is similar but with a scale factor of 8 over 5. I'm going to write that 8 over 5. Okay, times the size of yours. How much fence to the nearest foot will they have to purchase? Well, you had to purchase 319 feet of fence, and their yard must be bigger than yours because this number is bigger than 1. So that means if their yard is bigger, their yard amount is going to be on top. And you can make it equal to the scale factor. Okay, so if we cross multiply, that's 5x equals 8 times 319. Okay, so we get 2,552. If we divide everything by 5, you're going to get x equals 510.4 feet. Now they want the approximate amount, so 510, that's really close to C, which is 510. Okay, I'm going to read number 4 here. You are going to build a new garage similar to the rectangular one you currently have. The current dimensions of the garage are 25 feet wide and 20 feet long. So 25 and 20. That means that's 25 and that's 20. You will need to stake and rope off where the concrete will be poured. If the new garage is going to have a width of 30, so this was the width, it's going to be 30. If the new garage is going to have a width of 30 feet, how much rope are you going to need? So how much rope am I going to need around here? Okay, well I know this is 30. So if I go from, so the question is we're calling this the width. 25 is the width that you started with. This is the new width. This was the length. We need the new length. So let's call it width 2. Whoops, I wrote that wrong. Width number 2 and length number 2, and let's call it length 1 and width 1. Okay, well we know that width 1 over width 2 has to be the same as length 1 over length 2. So what is our width 1? Our width 1 is 25. Our width 2 is 30. That has to equal length 1, which is 20, over length 2. So that's what I'm going to need to solve. Now it would be easier if I reduce the fraction here. This, if you divide it by 5, that's 5 divided by 6, if you divide them both by 5. Then it'll be easier to work with because you have smaller numbers. So now I'm going to cross multiply 5 times L2. And I got 6 times 6 times 20, which is 120. Then I'm going to divide by 5, and I get L2 equals 24 feet. But that's not the answer they're looking for because they didn't ask how long is the length. What they asked for is if the new garage is going to have a width of 30 feet, how much rope? Well, when you do the rope's got to go around the outside of the thing. So there's what it was there. So they're asking for the perimeter. So I'm going to need the rope here. Okay? And to do that, that's going to be, the perimeter of the new one is going to be 2 times the 30. There's 2 30s plus 2 24s. So that's 60 plus 48, which is 108. We're talking about feet. And that gives you the answer to number 4. Okay, number 5, it says the two triangles are similar and the area of the bigger triangle is given. So the area of the bigger triangle, they wrote underneath the triangle as 1200. Whoops, I'll go back here. The area of the bigger one is 1200 feet squared. Or, sorry, inches squared. If you look under the units, it's inches. Okay? Find the area of the bigger one. Now, when you look at the sides in the small triangle, there's a side that is 12, and in the big triangle, there's a side that's 60. And if you divide everything by 5, if you divide everything by 12, you get 1/5. That's your scale factor. That's your scale factor. Okay, so the small one is 1/5 of the big one. But that's for sides. If you want the scale factor for area, it's going to be the 1/5, but your area is to the second power, so you're going to have to square it. So it's actually going to be 1/25. So here's how that would work. The area scale factor is 1 over 25. The area of the small one divided by the area of the big one. Okay, now remember, this was the other scale factor squared. That was squared, 1/5 squared. So we just have to put in some numbers here, and we actually know the area of the big one. They told us right here. The area of the big one is 1200 right there. So I'm going to erase the big thing here and put 1200. So I just need to cross multiply and solve that one. The area of the small one, I'm going to call it S for small, is equal to 1200 there. Oh, I forgot the 25 in front. There's a 25 there. Okay, now I can divide by 25, divide by 25, and the area of the small one is 48 inches squared. The most common wrong answer is 240. The most common wrong answer is 240 inches squared. And when you get that answer, it's because you forgot to square. You forgot that. If you forgot it. You forgot that it's the scale factor squared. Okay, that's it.